Picture this, you're sitting at your computer, staring at a blank screen, wondering if you are smart enough to learn programming. That cursor is just blinking at you, almost mocking your certainty. I know that feeling because I was there not too long ago. Hey everyone, I'm Almeida, and if you're watching this, you're probably asking yourself the same question I asked 3 years ago. Where do I even begin with programming? Here's the thing, I'm not some coding wizard with decades of experience. I'm just a mid-level developer and I'm learning every single day. And you know what? That's exactly why I can help you. Because I remember what it is like to be completely lost in the world of code. Let me be honest with you. When I started programming, I tried to learn every single language that was available. I spent weeks trying to learn 5 different languages at once because I thought that would make me well-rounded. I jumped from tutorial to tutorial without ever building anything real. I compared myself to developers who had been coding since they were 12. I felt like I was hopelessly behind. But here's what I learned, and this is crucial for you. Programming isn't about the smartest person in the room, and it is about being persistent, curious, willing to embrace the fact that you'll be confused most of the time. Even now, as a professional developer, I Google basic syntax errors. I read documentation, ask questions, and that's not a weakness. That's how programming works. Before we dive into the how-to, let's talk about what programming actually is. And I need to burst a few bubbles here. Programming isn't about typing green text on a black screen while wearing a hoodie in a dark room. It is not about memorizing hundreds of commands or being a math genius. Most of the time, programming is problem solving and it is breaking down big problems, complex problems into smaller, manageable. Think of it like cooking. You don't need to memorize every recipe in the world to be a good cook. You need to understand the basic technique, know where to find recipes when you need them, and be willing to experiment a lot of recipes. Programming is the same way. I remember my first week learning Python to figure out why my code wasn't working, only to discover that I had missed a single column, 3 hours for one single error. But you know what? That frustration taught me more about attention to the details than any tutorial ever could. So let's talk about how to actually start, and I'm going to give you a framework there that I wish someone had given me when I began. I call it the foundation framework. It is the approach I would take if I had to start over today. First, choose one language and stick with it for at least 3 months, not 2 weeks, not a month, 3 months minimum. I recommend Python because it reads almost like English. It is incredibly versatile and it is what I use every day in my work. But honestly, the specific language matters less than your commitment to stick with it. Second, forget about complex projects for now. Start with the basics and make them solid. Variables, loops, functions, basic data structures, these are our building blocks. I see so many beginners trying to build the next Facebook before they even understand how to properly use a for loop. It's like trying to build a house without knowing how to lay a foundation. Third, and this is where I made my biggest mistake initially. Build things immediately, not after you have watched tutorials, not after you feel ready. Start building simple programs from day one, straight from day one. A number guessing game, a simple to-do list, anything. These aren't glamorous projects, but they are where real learning happens. Here's the learning path I recommend. It comes from my experience both as a self-taught developer and from mentoring others who are starting their journey. Week 1 through 4. Focus on Python basics. Use a resource like python.org official tutorial or free code Python course. But, and this is crucial, don't just follow along passively. Type every single line of code yourself. Change things, break things, and see what happens. Week 5, wait. Start building your first project. Nothing fancy, a simple calculator, a word count program, maybe a basic text-based adventure game. The goal isn't to create something revolutionary. It is to apply what you have learned and discovered and what you don't know yet. Week 9 to 12. This is where it gets interesting. Pick a specific area that excites you: web development with Flex or Django, data analysis with Pandas, automation with Python scripts, game development with Pygame. The key is to pick one direction and dive deeper. Throughout this entire process, join communities, Reddit, Reddit communities, Python Discord servers, local meetups if they exist in your area. Programming can feel isolating, but it doesn't have to be. Some of the best learning moments have come from explaining concepts to other beginners or asking questions in community. Now, let's talk about the mindset that you make you or break your programming journey. And this is probably the most important part of this entire video. First, embrace the discomfort. Programming is uncomfortable. You feel stupid regularly. You asking whether you are out for this. That's normal. That's not a sign that you should quit. It is a sign that you are learning. I still feel this way when I encounter new technologies or complex programs. Second, measure progress differently. Don't measure your progress by how much you know compared to senior developer. Measure it by how much you understand compared to yesterday. Did you finally understand how functions work? That's progress. Did you debug your first error without looking it up? That's progress. Did you help another beginner with a problem? That's a huge progress. Third, understand that programming is a marathon, not a sprint. The developers you admire have been at this for years. They have made thousands of mistakes, built dozens of projects, and failed more times than you ever tried. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. So where do you go from now? Right now, today, before we close this video, I want you to do 3 things. First, install Python in your computer. Go to python.org, download the latest version, and install it. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until you have watched more videos. Do it now. Second, write your first program. Open up a text editor, type print hello world, save it as hello.py, and run it. Congratulations, you are now a programmer. Sounds silly, but that first program is more important than third. Commit to 30 minutes a day for the next month. Not 3 hours on Sunday, not when you feel motivated. 30 minutes every single day. Consistency is key here.